Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. 2 hours? Yeah. Welcome to Late Night Live. My name is Joe Smith. Can we change the name at some point? Joe Smith is... No one's going to believe that. That doesn't sound real, does it? I'm just going to be Joe Blogs. Nicorette Quick Mist. Nicorette Quick Mist. Unique, New York. What's that? Who was that? I heard that. You're telling me you can't hear that? Like a scratching, like a pecking noise. Yeah. What are you doing here? I thought you were dead. Hello and welcome to Late Night Live. My name is Joe and tonight we see the return of the Transfer Seagull. And why have you got a hat on? It was my birthday last week. And you shouldn't even be here anyway because lockdown's back in again in Manchester. And I saw a chaffinch with a cough on the road the other day and you've probably got it off him. The Transfer Seagull, of course, for those of you who don't know, brings us the transfer news by following the transfer trawler across the world, and we've got some big transfer news tonight and we are going to get right into that actually. It's Jadon Sancho, but before we get into that news, I want to hear your spooky football puns because in a little bit we're going to be looking at a story that describes a hotel where you can see the ghost of Mary Queen of Scots, would you believe? And we're going to be looking at that in a little bit, but like I said, give me your football supernatural puns. I've been asking for them on Twitter, I've got a few already, and I'm going to make a starting 11 of all of your football supernatural puns. So I want to start in 11 and we'll get to that at the end of the show. So give me them football supernatural puns. For example, Dion Goblin. He's already made the starting lineup. Mark 31st of October Mars. That's Halloween for those of you who don't know. Satan Baines, very good. Left back in. Satan Baines. We'll read through these at the end. Satan Baines locked in. We're also going to be looking at Gabriel, this mysterious centre-back that United have been linked with from Lille. Some people saying it's happening, some people say it's not happening. We're going to be getting into absolutely all of that. Phil Spector, that's one of the examples I gave on Twitter. You can't have that one. You can't have that one. Gary Devil, not bad indeed, not bad indeed. Let's get into it then. Let's get into this big story then. Jadon Sancho, Seagull's been covered, but he's still there. He's still there. Yeah, he's still there. The Transfer Seagull is still there. Let's get the intro music off, and it is already off. Perfect. For those of you who haven't seen the Transfer Seagull before, I'm sure you may be thinking, what the fuck? And quite rightly so. The Transfer Seagull comes along during the transfer window, which has actually only opened this Monday, by the way. I thought it'd been open for ages. It opened on Monday. After United sealed top four. First Late Night Live since United sealed top four. Bloody hell, lots happened in the last week, hasn't it? Right, let's get into this story. Straight in. No messing about. Keep your football supernatural puns coming. And like I said, I'm building that starting 11. Ghosty and Igalo. Needs a bit of work, but it's not bad. Right, Jadon Sancho, and this is coming from the Mail. This is coming from the Independent. And this is that Manchester United, once it loads, move for Jadon Sancho edges closer as Borussia Dortmund agree initial fee. And do you know something? I'd completely forgotten, because tonight we've got a brand new sponsor. And that sponsor is, of course, cans. So let me know if you're drinking a couple of cans in the comments as well. All over the place today. It's because we've got big news. We've got 120 million quid's worth of news. Jadon Sancho's anticipated move to Manchester United has moved a step closer as Borussia Dortmund are willing to agree on an initial fee. The Independent has been told that all talks regarding the deal are still between intermediaries and that there are no formal negotiations between the clubs yet. But the principles of a deal have been set out. And also, something to bear in mind is that these deals are often done like this, where everything is sort of done between intermediaries and we'll talk to that person, relay that back to that person, chat this, that, chat that, chat that. By the end, it's just, okay, remember that deal we just agreed with all those other blokes in the middle? Yeah, let's go on that. Yeah, let's go on that. Phone down, bid put in, 120 million, thank you very much. The Independent has been told that Dortmund will accept an initial bid of £60 million for a package that ultimately rises over £100 million, and a lot of other sources along the similar lines have quoted £120 million or euros, depending on where you're getting it from. Not that there's much difference these days, is there? Cheers, Brexit. Although there is still a distance regarding the pay plan thereafter and how much that will be. Again, 60 million up front, more like 120 million up front, because he plays up front. 60 million up front, rising up to 120 million. Now that is peak Ed Woodward, if there ever was such a thing, isn't it? Right, we'd like Jadon Sancho. Okay, cool, yeah, 120 million. Right, yeah, 120 million, I hear you. Hear me out. 8 million up front, what? Okay, 20 million up front and 80 million if he breaks Pele's 1,000 goal record. Okay, yeah, whatever. Ed Woodward is the king of starting at 60 and going up there. If he's the king of anything, which, let's be honest, maybe he's not, but if he had to be, it is let's start at about halfway and then we'll just go for add-ons, lardons, whatever it ends up being. The payment plan thereafter is the difficulty here. This is the difficulty. The German club are at this point willing to sell and are almost pushing the deal as they have planned for Sancho's departure and want their 2021 squad intact by the time they return to training on August the 10th. Let's not forget that the Bundesliga finished like 3 weeks ago. So it's not like the Premier League where it's just finished. He's been sat around doing nothing for 3 weeks. As such, Dortmund do not want a long transfer saga. Instead of Dortmund do not, you can just say do Dortmund. So they are willing to compromise. No other club is currently in for Sancho this summer. That's what you love to hear, isn't it? Despite long-term interest from Liverpool and Real Madrid, get out of town. Klopp said they ain't got no money, and Real Madrid, they're in for everyone, aren't they? The England international is a major summer target, although they are also looking for a centre-forward, a midfielder, and, if sales permit and budget permit, a centre-half, and we'll be getting into that centre-half in a little bit. Let me know what you think to this move for Jadon Sancho. 60 million up front with a further 60 in add-ons. I don't think I've ever seen a deal that was literally half add-ons. That is mad, isn't it? That is mad. Joe Smith with the Jadon Sancho miracle. I hope so. I hope so. Let's get back into some of your puns, and there's loads coming in. There's absolutely tons of them coming in. Ian Fry is going up front. I've already got 2 strikers, but we're playing 3 up top. Ian Fry, because that is great. Ian Fry is in. Now, also, I forgot to say, we also need a manager, a supernatural football manager, and we need a supernatural football team name, because we need the full thing here. If we're going to field a starting 11 to play Stretford Paddock FC, we need the full team. We've got a great front 3. We've got a couple of midfielders already, but we need that defence. The defence is key at this point. Frankenpard, it's close. Eric Fantomar, that's very nice. Casper the Friendly Ghost, we've already got a goalkeeper. We need some defenders. Boo Van Nistelrooy, that's not bad. Demba Boo, not bad at all. What else we got? Louis Van Gool. There you go, there's the manager. I think we found our manager. Louis Van Gool tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Wayne Rooney. Andy, I like it, but you're taking the mick, mate. Pep Fraudiola. Is a fraud, whilst maybe it's true, is a fraud technically supernatural? I'm not so sure about that. Booby Zamora, not bad. Busquets is going in centre mid. Busquets. Give me some. Phil Bones is locked in. Phil Bones is fantastic. Phil Bones is absolutely fantastic. We're going to be coming back to those in a little bit, but make sure they keep coming in. Great. Some of these are fantastic. Right, let's move on to our next story. Jadon Sancho, the comments are popping off, and I'm absolutely loving it. I need to release a team sheet of this afterwards. I'm going to do that. I'll release a team sheet once we've all sorted on this. Let's move on to our next story. This is brilliant. And this one, it's some bad news. People whinge about cancel culture. If there is such a thing as cancel culture, I'm not so sure. But if there is, the one thing we didn't expect to go is soap. One more. How has soap gone? Let me get into this article because this is mental. Washing with soap is damaging your skin. Right. Soap. I'm going to write the word soap, and then I'm going to put a big line through it, and then I'm going to draw a man spitting on it. Here's what a doctor says to do instead. Dr. James Hamblin says using soap in the shower can strip your skin. That's why he stopped using it altogether. And I can't tell, but the picture suggests he stinks. Using soap to wash in the shower is a trivial task that none of us have ever thought anything of. Speak for yourself. But it turns out that it's actually been damaging our skin the whole time. Damaging skin. According to James Hamblin, using soap in the shower can confuse our body's natural responses to dirt. Didn't know he had them. In his book, Clean, The New Science of Skin, which was released this week, the author said cleaning agents can affect the balance of natural microbiomes. He writes, while we all have long thought about our skin as a barrier, and I think about that every day, so I'll just be daydreaming and then someone will go, Joe, and I'll go, yeah, sorry, I'm just thinking about my skin as a barrier. He says that it is instead a dynamic interface with our environment. Blowing my mind here. He said, I gradually used less and less. I started to need less and less. Gross. My skin slowly became less oily and I got fewer patches of eczema. Now, why does eczema have to be vilified in all this? Eczema, I always considered it to be the sort of the bunker on the fleshy golf course that is skin. And you need a bunker for the challenge that is skin golf. I didn't smell like pine trees or lavender, but I also didn't smell like the oniony body odour that I got used to when my armpits used to be plastered with deodorant. It suddenly went a day without it. In an interview with Eamon Holmes, should have known, and Ruth Langsford on This Morning, Eamon was quick to ask the question we all want the answer to, and thanks for this, Eamon. Do you smell? With which he said, no, I don't smell at all, and I've asked people in a regimented way, and they said no. So soap's gone. You can't lather yourself with anything these days, can you? Soap, of all things, thrown to the wayside. Like what? Gardener's World and the cowboy pasty. I feel like we don't see cowboy pasties anymore. So what else you don't see anymore? And I might have mentioned this before, but prawn toast. Sorry, this is another thing, but why is no one ordering prawn toast anymore? Early 2000s, it was a mainstay of the Chinese takeaway. Now you go around someone's house and it's all crispy this and wonton that. Where's the prawn toast? Anyway, that's just my personal bug to bear. But yeah, soap's bad for you. Stop using it and you won't smell bad, apparently. Even though soap, if my maths is correct, has saved around 5 billion lives since its inception. I think it's the most death-averting invention in human history is soap. And you heard that here first. So, throw that away at your peril. Dinky old bastard. Next up, back to a bit of football. You remember football? The thing that we used to be scared of, but now we aren't. Well, Manchester United are targeting what can only be described as a centre-back that we all have heard of. Gabriel Magalhaes. No. Manchester United monitor Everton target. Napoli are the frontrunners. Okay, can we get to United again? Napoli are frontrunners in the race to sign Lille's Player of the Year with Everton and Paris Saint-Germain also in the frame. How Manchester United, Napoli, Everton, Paris Saint-Germain, Napoli, Everton, Manchester. How many clubs do you want to mention in this article? How many people are you filtering through the net of we mentioned your club and the coin goes round and round as we all read the same article and whoop, just drop into the bottom? Just another viewing figure, for Sky Sports. But let's not be cynical. Manchester United are monitoring Lille defender Gabriel Magalhaes. I haven't heard it said out loud, so I'm doing this off the cuff. I'm not trying to get it wrong. I just haven't heard it. Gabriel Magalhaes, as they look to sign a new centre-back this summer, the 22-year-old is on United's radar as his age, potential and price in the region of £20 million, which is what? About a third of a Nathan Ake, all fit the bill for a possible move to Old Trafford. Everton, Napoli and Paris Saint-Germain are embroiled, great word, in a race to sign the highly rated centre-back with the Serie A side, the current front-runners, as they remain in talks with Lille after wrapping up the signing of Victor Osimhen for £45 million. Gabriel was given more time to decide his future after Paris Saint-Germain joined the race to sign him, and an unnamed Premier League club. Just so you know, an unnamed Premier League club, you hear this mentioned sometimes, and I've watched Manchester United for my whole life, and I've not once seen them play against a side that didn't have a name. So I don't believe that club exists. There's no unnamed club. It's not like Man United, Liverpool, Everton, Arsenal. It doesn't work like that. There are no unnamed Premier League clubs. You have to have a name to register for the league. So I've got you there, Sky Sports. Everton remain in the race to sign Leo's Player of the Year after making an official bid in June. Apparently, he also had a medical at Everton. So is this a sort of, are we getting an Everton cast-off here? There's been a lot of talk about getting a centre-back, hasn't there? A lot of talk about getting a centre-back at Manchester United, but do we need one? I've got a sneaky suspicion that we may be only getting a backup centre-back. I think that Lindelof and Maguire is an underrated centre-back partnership. That's what I'm going to say. I think it's a decent partnership, Lindelof and Maguire. Anyway, right, let's get back to your football supernatural puns. If you haven't put one in the comments, put one in, because I'm putting together the starting 11 of Spooks right here. Skeletoni Cruz. That's my third midfielder in. And you know what? All I'm looking for is one centre-back. One centre-back will finish off the team. One centre-back. Give me your football supernatural centre-backs, and we can round this starting 11 off. I also need a club name. Club name. Manager name. Mark, who's you going to call? And just like that, Louis van Gaal has been sacked and replaced by Mark, who's you going to call? Ghostbusters. That's who. Brilliant. I'll remember that. I can't write that down. It's too long. There's some good ones. There's some very good ones. Skeletoni Pulis. That's very good. And also, the good thing about Skeletoni Pulis is you don't even know he's a skeleton because he's got such a big long jacket on that covers his whole body and the cap. You could sort of do a full 90 minutes across the dugout from him and not even realise he was dead. That's the great thing about Pulis. That's the great thing about the full-length duffel jacket. It's very slimming. Harry McCarb. It's a good joke, but it doesn't quite rhyme with Maguire enough to make it in. Let's get into this story then, because this is what you've all been waiting for, isn't it? This is what you've all been waiting for. Intriguing hotel where guests claim they've seen the ghost of Mary, Queen of Scots. The Haycock Manor Hotel in Wansford has attracted many guests over the years. Good, it's a hotel. Some of which claiming Mary, Queen of Scots visited the spot on their way to her imprisonment at Fotheringay Castle. The east of England is steeped in history. Is it though? With castles, cathedrals and even hotels with the curious tales to tell. One particular spot in Wansford near Peterborough has become the place of interest to those learning about the past, also known as history, and those fascinated by the paranormal, reports Cambridgeshire Live. The stunning Haycock Manor, get to the ghost, dates back to the 16th century and is a former coaching inn by the banks of the River Nene. Don't care, and is thought to have been visited by some famous faces over the years. Okay, among the notable guests is to be Mary, Queen of Scots, who once spent the night at the hotel. Their website reads, it's claimed, right, we'll either say it's true or don't, it's claimed that Mary, Queen of Scots was lodged at the Haycock on her way to imprisonment. What do you mean lodged? Like she just got foot like stuck in the... I'm lodged. I can't go... You're not going to be able to imprison me and kill me because my foot's lodged in this hotel here. And later executed, okay, at nearby Fotheringay Castle. I'm probably saying that very wrong. Fotheringay Castle is located just 13 miles from the centre of Peterborough, and Mary arrived there on September the 25th, 1586. Get to the ghost. Mary was buried at Peterborough Cathedral, but 25 later, her son James I had moved into an ornate marble tomb at Westminster Abbey. Get to the ghost! According to the website, okay, while the royal didn't spend long at the hotel, guests have claimed to see the ghost of Mary, Queen of Scots during their stay at Haycock, according to the website hauntedrooms.com, which if you're going there instead of Trivago, you're asking for it, aren't you? I booked the holiday anyway. Where'd you book it from? What was it? Where'd you get it from? Hotels.com? Booking.com, was it? No, I just got it from hauntedrooms.com. Is that going to be okay? Those who have stayed in older parts of the hotel have experienced some unusual goings-on. Guests at the hotel have reported various ghostly goings-on, including sightings of public figures, especially in the oldest part of the hotel. Guests at the hotel have also reported feeling someone in the room with them. If you're lucky. I haven't felt someone in the room with me pre-lockdown. According to the Haycock Hotel, Mary, Queen of Scots, oh, for God's sake, get to the bit with the ghost. This is a ghost in a hotel. Haycock Manor is currently undergoing refurbishments, probably to remove the ghost. The thing I don't get with ghosts, right? When you see a ghost and you see that it's Mary, Queen of Scots, why does everyone go, yeah, that's probably her? If you saw a real person in real life that looked like Mary Queen of Scots, you wouldn't go, oh, it's Mary Queen of Scots. You would say, oh, it's someone dressed like Mary Queen of Scots. Ghosts are getting an easy ride when it comes to the verification of the person they are meant to be the apparition of, I think. If I saw a ghost that looked like Mary Queen of Scots, I would say, you're probably a ghost that died in the 90s that is dressed up like Mary Queen of Scots. People are too trustworthy with their ghosts. I've always said that. Right, before we go, let's round it up then. We've got our team. I just need one defender. One defender. And I've got the team name there. Thank you very much. Team name, very good. Let's get one more defender and then one more supernatural defender. Brighton and Hove Albion, that's not a bad team name. It's not a bad team name at all. Come on, what we got? Ali McCoast. There we go. He's going to be playing at centre-back even though he's not a centre-back. That's our team. That's it. Hist, Smalling, barely, just doesn't quite make it in. Frankenstein, Beckenbauer, not bad, but it's not getting in. Leonardo, Bonucci, it's not bad at all. You look like Jesus. That's why I like Judas. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Patrick. Right, that's going in. That one's gone out. That's in, and we've got it. That's it. The starting 11 is set. Right. Here we go. Let's run through it before we go then. Get her off the screen. Get the Transfer Seagull away. For those of you who've never seen the transition of the Transfer Seagull, it is a thing of beauty. Pop that up there. See ya. Now, before we go, let's get into it. This is your supernatural starting 11 with manager, with club name. Here we go. The team, Norwich City. The manager, Mark. It was Hughes. It was something to do with Hughes, but I can't remember it. So we're going Louis Van Gaal as the manager. Goalkeeper, Jean Ouija Buffon. Fantastic. Right back, we've got Dennis. Gary Neville is who we've got. Centre back, we've got Patrick Van Arsehole. Can't read it. Phil. Tell you what, it's harder to read this than you think, you know. Leighton Boons. Then we've got Skeletoni Cruz at centre mid. We've got Busquets at centre mid. We've also got Fabian Elf. Supernatural, but not necessarily scary. Then up front, a stunning front line. We've got Dion Goblin. We've got Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And rounding out the starting 11, we have got Ian Fright. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you at home for your puns, for being here tonight. Enjoy a can. Responsibly, of course. We'll be back next week. We'll also be back on Wednesday for Manchester United's LASK second leg. They're calling it a dead rubber, but there's no such thing these days. Make sure you check that one out. Again, thank you very much for joining me. If I missed any of your puns, I do apologise. But the starting lineup is there. And next week we'll have another starting lineup. Don't worry about that. Thank you very much for joining me at home. Hope you all have a great weekend. See you in a bit.